I bet you didn't expect to see another upload from me so soon again, but I have just been bursting with ideas since my upload last night, talking about wanting to do a full reboot of the Warrior Cat series. I've just been blown away by your response and all of the support I've gotten, and I'm so excited to keep on planning and coming up with ideas for this reboot. One thing I didn't get a chance to touch on in my previous video was that the most important thing I want to focus on in this new reboot is focusing on different perspectives and getting to see events transpire from the perspective of different clans and cats and have different point of view characters in each of the 5 clans and be able to follow along with their stories and get to see things from their point of view. While I'm here talking to you today and sharing my ideas, the visuals that you're going to be seeing are me painting on some Etsy orders of some customs of Hollyleaf, Leafpool, and Jayfeather. If you'd like to order a custom made by us, you can check out our Etsy shop, which is down below. For the entire month of January, we're going to have different daily deals every day where a different character is 50% off every day. So be sure to stay tuned in to what's happening over on my community tab page so you don't miss out on the deals. Anyways, back to my ideas for today. So yesterday I was trying to figure out a way to make the lore of the cats of the ancient clans of Lion Clan, Tiger Clan, and Leopard Clan somehow fit into the story as a potential beginning. And what I've basically determined is that that would be really difficult to see how the cats actually descended from ancient lions, tigers, leopards, jaguars, panthers, cheetahs, whatever. And so I don't think that I'm going to quite go there with my storyline. Instead, I came up with some different ideas that I'm really excited about. In the Warrior Cat series, we never really get to see who are the leaders of StarClan. We kind of only ever get to meet some more recent Warrior Cat ancestors who have passed away. Like, the leading forces in StarClan seem to be Spotted Leaf, Yellowfang, Blue Star, all cats that we know and are familiar with throughout the first arc. We don't really ever get to see cats that come from much further back, except for in Firestar's quest when we see some ancient SkyClan cats who come to Firestar with prophecies. And then later in Omen of the Stars, we do see some Dark Forest cats that are from past generations. And of course, Mapleshade is very important to the Dark Forest as well. But I was thinking that I could tie in that ancient lore of lions, tigers, and leopards into StarClan, who are the ancestors of the cats, and have StarClan represented in the beginning as a giant lion, tiger, leopard, cheetah, jaguar, all of those amazing big cats. And it would give me a great excuse to make adorable customs of them all, so I could have tigers and lions and get to make all of those fun custom patterns. But by lions, tigers, leopards, and such being in charge of StarClan, it would give the cats their ties back to their ancient roots. And so let me get into kind of my ideas for a beginning plot. And all of this may take place in real time with like voice acting out and like scenes of things actually happening, or it might just be told in like a bedtime story to a character with which we're picking up the story and going from there with. So here is the beginning of the series, potentially. Remember, this is a very rough idea I just had today, and it's totally subject to change, especially with your input. So if you have any ideas about this, then be sure to comment down below. I'm always reading the comments, and what you guys say has a huge impact. So if you have any additional ideas to share, be sure to let me know. So we'll start with a group of cats who are perfectly isolated in this lake territory. There are no humans here and no ability for them to get into this place where the cats live. And these cats look to their ancestors for guidance. There is a lightness and a darkness, and these cats look to their ancestors, both good and evil, to guide and influence them. As time passes, the darkness begins to grow, and the ancestors who have been evil and have sought power and spilled blood begin to try to have a greater influence over the cats, and they begin to bid for more power, promising the cats that if they give their loyalty to them, they will be rewarded. Many cats are swayed by their dark influence, and the lake territory is torn between following their good ancestors or following the influences of the dark forest. A terrible battle happens between the cats who want to follow good and the ones who want to follow evil, and unfortunately, good does not prevail. And all those who had decided to fight on the side for good and lost were given a choice: to leave or be killed. And so, the exiled cats set off on a journey to find a new home and a place where their good ancestors can be the ones who have power and influence over them. And after many moons of tireless travel and following the guidance of their ancestors, the cats found a new home in the forest territories. But the terrain was much different than they were used to, and at first they were unsure of how they would settle in and make a life for themselves there. But then they found the Moonstone, and there they were able to communicate more clearly with their ancestors. They were instructed to split into 5 groups, each to be guided and influenced by one of the great cats of old, and for the cats of that clan to be given special abilities to help them thrive in their new territories. A lion came forward to give the first cats of ThunderClan the special abilities of strength, teamwork, and strategy. The spirit of a tiger slowly stalked towards the cats of New Shadow Clan and promised their descendants the special abilities of shadow walking, which would give them the ability to blend into their surroundings, especially in areas of deep shade, and also to have the ability to see in complete darkness. Next, the spirit of a cheetah darted forward to give the new cats of Wind Clan incredible speed and the ability to tunnel far beneath the ground. After the cats of Wind Clan received their new gifts, the remaining cats were concerned. The only remaining territory seemed impossible for any cat to inhabit. There was a bit of territory across the river, but it would mean getting their paws wet, and the only other place a cat could settle was so inhabited by trees that there'd be no place for a camp. Their ancestors comforted their fears and told them that if they had faith, that they would provide. A jaguar splashed forward and promised special abilities to the cats that would become RiverClan cats, giving them the abilities to be strong swimmers with webbed feet and to have the ability to breathe underwater. Or alternatively, if that's too much, just to be able to dive down into deep depths of water and to be able to hold their breath for a long period of time. Now there was only one group of cats remaining who had not yet received their special abilities or territory. A distinct noise sounded from above as a leopard descended from the sky with magnificent wings spreading out behind her. As she soared down to join the cats, she promised the final group of cats that they had not been forgotten. They had fought the hardest in the battle to support the ancestors and had lost the greatest amount of cats. And so the ancestors had decided that this final group of cats would be blessed to have wings, like StarClan, to fly high in the sky and set their camp in the trees, to be safe from all the predators down below, and to give room for all the clans in the forest territory. Alright, so that's my idea. I hope you enjoyed my kind of dramatic reading of it all. I had fun planning it out a little bit. All of it is very rough, and it might be too much for the cats of SkyClan to have wings, but honestly, I think it would be really, really cool. And it could also lead into the reason why SkyClan had to be driven away. Because one thing the ancestors did not account for was the eventual arrival of humans to the forest territories. And with the arrival of these terrible two-legs, every aspect of clan life was threatened. And every cat in the forest would have to change their ways in order to survive. SkyClan, I imagine, had the most difficult time of this, because with their wings being up in the trees, it made it almost impossible for them to hide from the two legs. In my light planning that I've done so far, which is totally subject to change, as I've said before, there could be an instance as the two legs move in that a SkyClan cat is shot down by a two-leg and is potentially taken away to never be seen again. And this could lead to a lot more eyes on the clans from the two legs, as I'm sure a winged cat would draw a lot of attention. And scientists in the two-leg world and such would want to find out what exactly is going on here. We wouldn't be seeing things from the two-leg perspective, but it could become clear that SkyClan is too much of a danger to the clans, and so they are driven out and exiled. Because the other 4 clans are scared of the dangers that SkyClan might bring, and being too obviously different. So now, with this idea, the difficult part is figuring out 4 episodes where to start in real time of like picking up from it, changing from just being a story of somebody telling this story to it being like, okay, now let's start with the plot and go forward from here with episodes. I don't know. It would be so fun to start from the very beginning, but I do feel like there is a lot of potential for going back and exploring this plot further. And I don't want to take that away from like future cats like Jayfeather, who have like visions where he travels back into the past and stuff, because that could definitely still be an opportunity for him to travel back and be part of the great battle that happens in the Lake Territories that decided that the first cats were exiled, and traveling with them to the new territories and witnessing them getting their special abilities and such. It could be like Jayfeather was one of the leading cats who wanted them to fight for good, and maybe even perhaps he thinks he could change history in some way to impact what's happening in current day with his clans and their struggles with the Dark Forest. But as one of my favorite forms of time traveling is that things happened exactly as they always did. He is only able to add himself to the story and become part of that history himself. So that could definitely still happen as is, and kind of leave it more vague as the beginning of it being a story that's shared. And then we could jump right into the meat and potatoes of continuing on. Oh, one more relevant thing that I had to share about the special abilities and such. Some of you might be a little bit skeptical with them having special abilities, but for the most part, I promise that it's not going to be like too magic cat-like related, other than SkyClan having wings. But I do think that would be interesting, especially for a potential for a future Firestar's quest that he needs to go and reestablish SkyClan. I think it'd be so cool for him to go and actually find the cats of SkyClan and their descendants who are still cats who have wings, that are now living in a far-off, obscure place. I don't think SkyClan should have anything to do with kitty pets like it does as it is now in this series, because I just feel like the whole kitty pets thing is really overdone with Firestar and such, and it takes away from what makes him special in being a kitty pet. I do believe that Two Legs should be one of the main enemies throughout the Prophecy Begins series, and especially in the first part of the New Prophecy, as the humans totally invade and take over the forest, driving the cats away. And again, touching on the special abilities aspect, it just makes everything make a lot more sense, especially as to why the cats are so obsessed with not letting in kitty pets and loners and such, because they want to keep their clans pure. If other cats were allowed to mix in, then they would lose that special ability that they have, and the future descendants of that clan would no longer be gifted with that special ability gifted to them by StarClan. I think this would make the forbidden romance aspect a little bit more interesting as well, too, and could lead to some interesting plot points, such as when Mistyfoot's kits fall in the river. At least in my episodes of Forest of Secrets, one of her kits is going to drown and die, and that would be her clan's first inkling that maybe her kits weren't full-blooded RiverClan cats, because RiverClan cats have the ability to breathe underwater. And so this would cause suspicion in the clan towards Mistyfoot and her heritage, because Mistyfoot herself is half ThunderClan, even though she doesn't know it. This also might be a reason why Mapleshade's kits still drowned, even though they were part RiverClan. It could explain why Mapleshade was not accepted into RiverClan after her kits drowned, because the cats of RiverClan perhaps feel that that was the ancestors' way of speaking and saying that the kits were not approved by them because they were not gifted with the special ability to breathe underwater, and were in fact killed by the water. And that could lead to Mapleshade's direct hatred towards the ancestors, which later leads her to become one of the leaders of the new Dark Forest, as she goes on her revenge plan and seals her fate in blood. There's a lot of ideas to explore with the half-clan cats. Maybe they develop different special abilities, which would make sense for future cats like the Power of Three cats, with Jayfeather having special abilities and also Lionblaze having special abilities, with them being half ThunderClan, half WindClan. And on the other side of things, with Two Legs being the main enemy of the series, it would make a lot more sense why the clans are so hostile to kitty pets, because the humans are literally in the process of destroying their way of life, almost from the beginning of the series. I want to make Two Legs a constant presence that's just always upping and getting worse and worse and worse until the new prophecy. Not just something that's like, everything's fine! Oh, everything's not fine. Let's leave. I think that 2 legs are a constant problem for the clans until they leave and finally get peace in the lake territories. And then, at least for my series, I don't think we'll ever deal with 2 legs again, unless the cats go on another journey. With the cats of the clan being blessed to pass down to their descendants with their warrior cat blood, the special abilities given to each of their clans, this would also make sense why it's so impressive that Firestar becomes leader as a kitty pet. So he does not have any ties to the clans or abilities at all, which makes him truly special. Well, I've definitely enjoyed sharing all of these fun ideas with you, and I'm super excited to see what you guys think of these ideas in the comments section down below. If you can think of any better special abilities for the clans, then let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your ideas. If you guys tune in next time, I'm going to be sharing my ideas of how my original series, The Unknown Flame, will have a crossover with the Cats of the Forest in this reboot. But that'll have to wait for next time. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed the visuals of me working on these customs. Remember, if you'd like to order your very own custom made by us, you can by clicking the link down below to my Etsy shop. Well, I'll see you guys soon with the next video. Until then, bye-bye!